Hey, it's Carol. Are you ready to start writing down your New Year's resolutions? This is the last Wild Wednesday of 2022. So I've been thinking about what do we want to talk about today? What's going on? You know, I hope you all had a very happy Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas, and Santa brought you a whole bunch of stuff for those of you in the Midwest and the East Coast. Some of you may still be stuck in snow and weather, and those of you who traveled may still be there and not here. So I do wish everyone safe return to wherever you're returning to, and that your families are healthy and well. But here in Southern California, well, we had rain yesterday. Oh my gosh, it really rained. And I was there. I was part of the rain, part of the out and about, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But let me go back to the New Year's resolutions. Years ago, it was introduced in my church, in my spiritual center, that instead of doing resolutions, we do intentions. So I have a list that's called My Intentions for 2023. Actually, I'm looking at the one for 2022. And what is it? It's all, it's sort of like an affirmation. I read them every morning. Sometimes I read them twice a day. So it gets my brain working on it, my environment working on them. What do I talk about? I talk about my health. I talk about, the first one says, I am healthy, slim, and sexy in my size 2 to 4 clothes. That's my intention. Somehow my sixes are fitting really well this year, or at least of late. I talk about my income. I talk about my real estate business. I talk about my relationships with my son and Kenneth, and where I want to go and what I want to see. And I always talk about trips. And for the past so many years, I keep putting Washington, D.C. on my list because I'd love to go back there. And it hasn't quite worked out. But I think in 2023, it's going to work out. And we are going to make it to Washington, D.C. next spring. Initially, it's mostly because of my late father-in-law. And we're going to take him to Arlington National Cemetery and find a little spot for him to be there. Anyway, I don't know. Resolutions, all you hear is, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to the gym. Well, that lasts maybe one day, 1 week, 1 month, and then it's done. I started many years ago. Had an aerobic skier here, and I would walk, quote, walk every day. And then I had a little slight injury, and I couldn't do the poles. It was more like skiing and poles. And my chiropractor suggested I start walking outside and go, outside? I don't want to go outside. And sure enough, I can't. It's hard for me to miss a day outside now. So that's why I'm glad the last 2 days, in spite of the rain, it was sunny and bright in the morning so I could go walking outside. I do about a 3.1 mile route in my neighborhood, but many of you know about that. You've heard about that before. But getting back to the intent, so the intentions is just a list of things that I'd like to accomplish. Now, and it could be sort of your goal setting. It could be something that you'd like to achieve in the next so many years. But put it down. The more they say, the more you write it down, the more it gets internalized. And if you're into it, the universe is going to pick up on it, and God will help work you through the process. So if I don't reach all of these by the end of the year, I'm okay. I continue on. I just continue on. And I don't fuss about it. I just move forward. In fact, there may be something I take off this year, and I may be putting something on for 2023. I haven't quite decided it yet. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was out in the rain. Yes, I was out in the rain last night. Because last night was the first night of the decorating for the Torrance Rose Float. And for those of you who followed me on Facebook last night, you got to see some of the photos. I was helping out in what we call the tent. Torrance Rose Float Association has a tent. We have snacks at night. We have sandwiches during the day for the decorators. And we also have what we call swags. We have t-shirts. We have pins, all kinds of pins. We have a decorator pin that's for this year's float. We have a float. We have a decorator pin. We have a float pin. We have, I think there's 3 pins. And there's a hat. I actually have a hat. And we have a generic t-shirt. And then we have a specific t-shirt with the Rose Float of the year designed on it. And this year they're navy. And this year, the latest conversation was, all we have is larges left. So if you're large and you want a t-shirt that has this year's Rose Float, which is called For the Love of Nature, check it out. The other thing we have, and you could still order one, is a rose vial. A rose vial allows you to celebrate somebody. Hi, Catherine. You can celebrate somebody yourself, a family member. You can, your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whichever. Or it could be in memory of someone. You could be in honor of somebody. You could celebrate somebody. And for $10, it's just a $10 donation. You write down what you wanted to say. You can pay online. You get that over to us. And there'll be a little tag that'll be put onto this little vial that has water in it, and the roses go in. These roses that are tagged will then go to the camera side of the front of the float. So when you are watching TV, you can see it coming down, coming down Colorado Boulevard. Oh my gosh, that's a rose vial for my mother, you know. So it's an easy way to participate with the Torrance Rose Float Association. A small donation. The other thing I can tell you, if you're not a decorator but you'd like to join us on February, I think it's February 4th, Saturday, February 4th in Torrance, we have a celebration dinner. Because why do we celebrate? Well, we're celebrating our decorators, and we want to thank them, and we're also celebrating our award, because we have such a beautiful float this year that we know we're going to win another award. And it reminds everybody about the floral and the design. You know, our float was designed by a student from one of the local high schools, and that person gets to ride on the float because we do have a sponsor for her. There are 7 other riders who've all made a donation in order to participate. One of the other people on the float is one of our city council people this year. And the young lady who is with Discover Torrance, which is basically our outreach to from the hotels to visitors. It's like a visitor center for the city of Torrance. So anyway, I hope you're all ready for the new year, wherever you are. It's been a wild Wednesday 2022, and I'm looking forward to my Wild Wednesdays in 2023. If you have any topics you'd like me to discuss, personal, real estate, well, don't get too personal, but real estate wise, or adventures that I may have been on, or theater that I go to, send me a text, put a message down below, and let's see what we can talk about in 2023. Anyway, I gotta go. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Have a very happy and safe New Year, and we'll talk next week. Bye.